All you have to do is hit the guys through the walls if you have a chain. You can see that, so I don't have to re-go up the boxes and work my way over. Once they are defeated though, walk around a little bit and finally Rocco will show up. Unfortunately for Rocco, I have a chain and I have great timing. Just wait for him to keep getting up and just keep slamming him with the chain. Once he's defeated, he tells us where our next boss is located, and then we're going to have to go back to that park area. So a little bit more backtracking is going to have to be done. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is these big open holes, these craters here. There was one at the first boss battle and there's one here. Be very careful of them. If you accidentally get knocked into one or fall into one, it's an instant game over. For the other enemies, if you knock them in, they instantly die. So it's a plus and minus system, and for the most part, don't hang out on their screens unless you're really confident in fighting the enemies. Also, be sure if you start to get beat up a lot and start losing health, don't just stand there and keep getting beat up. Like, escape the screen, leave the screen, and try to get to the nearest town area to buy some health items. Make our way back through that second shopping area, back to the construction zone, where we had that battle with Moose. If you want to fight the boss battle again, you can. Every time I defeat all the enemies on this screen, he will respawn. And he's an easy battle, you get a little bit of extra money for him, so sometimes it's actually worth fighting him over and over again. But the best part is that Benny and Clyde area. You actually have to fight Benny and Clyde twice, and both areas are the best way to grind for money. Once we make it back to the park, if you already defeated the enemies, I'm pretty sure you'll just get right into the boss battle with Blade. Sinful again, once again, I really highly suggest bringing a weapon with you, or using your Dragon Fist or your kicking ability to take him out real quick. If he keeps blocking, just keep slamming him with the chain. Eventually he'll stop blocking and you'll be able to get a good hit in on him. Once he's defeated, he'll tell us about Thor, but we actually have a couple bosses before Thor. And all of them are located on the opposite side of that warehouse, so we're going to have to track back over to there. However, before I head all the way to the next boss battle, I'm going to do a little bit of grinding in that Benny and Clyde battle to get some money. The money I'm going to be earning during that boss battle will allow me to buy the special item located inside the tunnel at the secret shop that'll greatly increase my stats. If you have your best weapon in hand, head back down to do the battle with Benny and Clyde again. They sit there and talk for a few seconds, which easily allows you to get over there and knock one of them to the ground. When the other one tries to attack you, knock him to the ground and just keep alternating between the two, and you should be able to keep both of them on the ground, just repeating over and over again. They'll die after only a few hits, and you get a good amount of money from it. Do this as many times as you need to in order to buy whatever items you want to. Like I said before, I'll be buying an item from the special shop, so I'm going to need a little bit of money. You can see you get a lot of money, and I'm only going to be buying one of the special items, and I'm going to need 100 in order to do so. So once I get up to 100, I'll be able to move on and continue playing the game. This is probably the most boring part of the game, and it's not absolutely necessary, but the item that I will be buying will greatly help me out. And some of the other ones, if you want to save up to get 200 and a couple more hundreds, you can buy the other items in that shop, and it'll max out your stats really fast, and you'll have no problems for the last parts of the game. River City Ransom is one of my favorite NES beat-em-ups, and they did port it over to the Game Boy Advance a few years ago, so if you have a DS Lite and you don't have a regular Nintendo, you can pick up the Game Boy Advance version, which has slightly updated graphics. You always have your money and health on screen at once, so you don't have to switch between the two, and there's a few other extras that were added to the game. It may be worth tracking down if you want to get a hold of River City Ransom. I have the money that I'm going to need in order to buy the items, so now I can continue moving on, and we're heading back to that warehouse. One thing you'll get used to in the game is on certain screens the enemies run at you trying to get you as fast as possible. When you start playing the game a lot, it'll just become reflexes. You'll know exactly when they're going to show up on screen, and you'll start attacking just the air, and you'll be amazed at sometimes how the enemies will just run right into your weapon to get a free hit in on them. And it's a very good precautionary move to do sometimes, to just start swinging the weapon once in a while, because when you get close to the screen, you're never quite sure if there's an enemy right there, and they may surprise you and able to knock you down to the ground. Once we're back in the warehouse, we have to make that running jump again, which is a little bit of a pain. So like I said, you may have to do that once or twice before you'll get the hang of that running jump. Once we are outside the warehouse, we head to the right, and you can see there's the big tunnel. In there is going to be the secret shop. The enemies here are a little bit tougher. There's black shirt guys, they're pretty tough. But once you're inside the tunnel, defeat all the enemies that will show up. Once you're defeated, you'll be able to enter that secret shop. Once they're all taken care of, walk up into the wall. You'll enter the wall, and here's the mystery shop. You can see the items here. I'm going to be buying the Rodin Wing. You'll see in a second when I use it just how much it increases my stats. This one's really good. The Rodin Wing is really good for increasing your defense, and I'll use it in just a few minutes. Every item in that shop will greatly increase at least one stat. Most of them increase several stats. So it may be worth saving up money if this is your first time playing, and just grab as many of those items as possible to really pump up your character. This is Turk, is one of the other bosses of the game. Not really any tougher than some of the previous ones because the chain does a really good number in on them, just like the rest of them. We have to make our way through this construction area, and after this will be another one of the shopping areas so that you can replenish your health. But before we can get there, we're going to have to face off with Mojo, another one of the red bosses. Just like the previous one, stay in there, keep delivering your shots with your chain. If he blocks it, just keep swinging at him. Eventually he'll stop blocking and you'll be able to knock him to the ground. Keep repeating over and over again, then keep him on the ground and stop him from attacking you. He'll go for that jumping kick sometimes, but with a nicely timed punch or a chain or a weapon move, you'll be able to block his kick, his flying kick, and knock him right straight down. These enemies are probably some of the toughest and fastest that we've faced so far. Take your time slowly, wait for them to come to you, and when they start running, deliver your shots with your attacks. Keep them on the ground and away from you as much as possible. In this mall area, I'm going to buy the teddy bear item, which is going to help me with more of my stats. Now that I have this, I'll go ahead and actually use the items that I previously were buying. So I'll go into my belongings and I'll use the Rodin Wing and the teddy bear. You can see it's going to greatly increase my defense, willpower, my stamina, and max power go up. Use the teddy bear as well. That gives me a big strength bonus, some more stamina, and max power upgrades. The only item I'm still going to have to buy is the Grand Slam ability, which allows me to do 3 weapon hits at once. I can't recommend any move more highly than that one, because you're going to really need it in order to defeat the bosses at the end of the game. The high school at the end of the game has bosses on every one of the floors leading up to the roof,